All right, welcome to the ninth lesson on sentences and sentence structure. And of course, we're going through a lot of the boring details of the language before we get into more fun stuff. But I want you to have just a basic understanding. And don't worry if you don't get everything just yet. But a simple sentence in English would be something like my girlfriend has a dog, right? Very, very simple. And think of it in blocks, right? So basically, you have this first part, which is my girlfriend. So for concept one, so building block A, let's just say, my girlfriend. And then has is the next building block, right? The action, the verb. And then the direct object, in this case, would be, I just call it building block number C, right? So the cool thing in German is these things, the order can actually be switched from A to C and C to A. However, the verb always remains in the middle, or it's the second building block. It's always the second building block. So in German, it would be perfectly acceptable to say, a dog has my girlfriend. And because the pronoun my girlfriend, or the way that, the way you introduce the word dog would indicate that this is the direct object, and my girlfriend would remain the subject because of the way that the word girlfriend is introduced or modified by the article, the possessive article here. So if you have no idea what I just said, don't worry about it. I'll make it as simple as I can. So let me go ahead and give you this example. Meine Freundin, Freundin means girlfriend, hat einen Hund. Okay. So remember when we went over the articles ein, eine, and ein for der, die, das? Well, in this case, because this falls into the direct object of the word, ein becomes einen. And so because I know einen indicates a direct object or a building block C, it makes it clear to me if I reverse the order of the sentence and I say einen Hund hat meine Freundin, just because of the way that this particular ending indicates that it's a direct object. And a direct object, just as a refresher, is the object in a sentence that receives the action. So that's really cool with German because you can flip the phrases and sentences around at will as long as the verb remains in the second position. So it always remains building block B. Now, if you're wondering if that gets confusing in everyday discussions, it really doesn't, because the reason why you would flip it is because you want to add emphasis to the fact that it's the dog that she has. She doesn't have a cat, she has a dog. Einen Hund hat meine Freundin. So see how I just reversed that? Einen Hund. And let me go ahead and write it out here. Einen Hund hat meine Freundin. All right, and I'm just basically emphasizing that the fact is that she has a dog. Okay, this is a U, just in case. Germans also put a little line over the top of a U to indicate that that this is indeed a U. And this, don't confuse this with the two dots. That changes everything. But sometimes I've seen him put a little hook up above the U just to let you know that's a U there. So, einen Hund hat meine Freundin. Now let's go to a more complex. These are very simple sentences. But let's go to the only other exception to this, which is when you have a more complex sentence. So the word structure is always as it is, as I just described. But there is one exception that you should be aware of right up front. It's a subordinate conjunction, and Um, don't worry about that. It's just a linking word, okay? So when you have a linking word in a German sentence, then it reverses the order. This is really the only nuance that you have to learn. But linking words are words like that, and so, I think that you are going to the store. So that, in that case, would be a linking word. Or another linking word might be because. She has a dog because she's afraid. So because is a linking word. And you'll get to recognize these, just so you know, I'm not running damn it. It's damit means so that. So this would be the so that. And just so you have the German translations for these words, weil, it means because, and das, this is actually an SZ. SZ is pronounced like two S's. It's like a sharp S. Das means that, right? So these are linking words, and let me give you a sentence and show you what happens to the subject and the verbs and all that. So if I say, for example, I think that she is, or let me change that, she has a dog, okay, and just to kind of stay in line with what we were. So if I say I think that she has a dog, then you're going to see in the second half of the sentence the word order is going to reverse so that the verb, which is normally the second building block, so let's just say be is usually in the second spot, that would go all the way to the end. Let me show you how that works. So ich denke, dass sie einen Hund hat. All right, so this is the only complexity in German. Ich denke, so you remember this is the building block A, and this is B, so I think, and then there's this linking word that we were just discussing, and das, meaning that, sie einen Hund hat. Now, the second part of that sentence, the word order is reversed, so now A, and then C, and then B. Okay, so the verb, it's important just to remember that the verb goes to the end of the sentence. Ich denke, dass sie einen Hund hat. So, give you one more example of that. Let me clear this out. Would be sie hat einen Hund, weil sie Angst hat. Okay, so again, this is the same pattern. She has a dog, so just like in the first example, but now we have one of those linking words, and the linking word makes the word order reverse so that the verb comes at the end of the sentence. And I'll never forget, I was in a sitting through a lecture in Germany, and this guy was translating for me, and I had a headset, and he was translating, and I never understood this until now, well, until I learned the language, but he says, he started laughing because he says, I'm waiting for the verb. Because you literally can fill this whole section with tons of words, like a paragraph, and the English speaker would be waiting on the final verb to know what he's saying about all of this stuff. It's just a funny thing that happens in German, and most German conversations, they don't fill it with a ton of information before they add the verb, so that, you know where they're going. But that's how it works. So that's pretty much as complex as it gets. If you're asking a question, also it changes the word order, so B A and then C. Okay, so hat sie einen Hund. So the questions, you just reverse the subject and the verb. so that now the verb is up at the front, subject is second. That indicates a question. So Old English used to ask that way: "Have you a dog?" And you sometimes you'll hear foreigners say that kind of thing too. So I hope this helped, and I'll see you in the next lesson.